coming to your experience in London.
Right.
And you are not only in London, right? Because I have the privilege of following you on Instagram.
No.
And I see you at all beautiful, all places, rubbing shoulders with the who's who of the world. Can you share a experience? You attended a couple of World Economic Forums, marquee events, right? Can you help me understand what kind of learning you had and what kind of insights did you collect from all these kind of events, marquee events, which you attended at LSE, you attended in Dubai, you attended, I think, in Switzerland as well. So,
The first time I attended it was in December of 2022 in the UAE when I was on my way back to India. College had just broken for winter break, and I was honestly enthralled with what I saw. I was not only interacting with the who's who of India, but also the Middle East region. And after 3 days of immense learning and gratitude, the only thought that stuck with me is the forum discusses a lot of wide-ranging issues, and it's very important for the youth to get involved. And the founder of the forum, Professor Manoj Ladwa, was extremely receptive and progressive. And when I pitched the idea to him of having a youth forum within IGF or India Global Forum, he he gave me the opportunity, he gave me the support, he gave me the wings to fly. And in June of this year, I had the privilege of organizing a youth-led wing for India Global Forum at the High Commission of India.
hello, everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of Back to Class. Here, we invite our successful alumni from Atlas Kiltech University to share their journey and understand what did it take for them to become successful. I'm very, very happy today because I have somebody special who I've shared a lot of memories with. I have had the privilege of teaching him and also learning from him, Aditya Madnani. Hi, Aditya. Welcome to this podcast, Back to Class.
Thank you so much, Omkar sir, for having me on this podcast. It feels great to be back on campus and in your August company.
Lovely, lovely. Let's start it right off the bat, right? I remember a very bright eyed Aditya Madnani who was maybe 16, 17 when the first time I met you, and you were doing a lot of Model United Nations, right? Can you get our viewers to understand what exactly was your journey, a 17-year-old, and you always had big dreams, right? So, how are those dreams shaping up? And I'm sure that they're shaping up very well. But how did that journey begin when you were 17 and when we first met, I think at Atlas, is me, yeah.
Right. I clearly remember the first day I met you. I was even before I enrolled into ISME back then. And I had just finished my 12th grade. I had a long summer, wasn't traveling that summer break, and wanted to make the most of those few months that I had. And back when I was in high school, I had, as a student, attended many of these Model UN conferences, went on to organize one as part of my school contingent. And I was so excited about the concept of entrepreneurship. Uh, of course, entrepreneurship sounded like a foreign word at the time because there was a big boom of entrepreneurs, but we didn't know of any university or college teaching entrepreneurship as a discipline. So when I enrolled into Atlas, filled me with excitement, filled me with joy, and I said, I want to be an entrepreneur. The only thing that I knew how to do at the time was organize these conferences, these student-led conferences. So with your push, with your throttle that you gave me, and all of your guidance and support on the platform, we went on to organize our first Model UN conference. Uh,
That's massive, right? How many students enrolled for the first time?
so for the first time, we had about 500 students that signed up.
Yeah.
We used what you may call a guerrilla marketing technique,
Yeah.
where the way we went about getting those 500 students was we were a team of just 20 of us. Many of my batchmates who had just finished the 12th grade with me. And I remember sitting everyone down at a coffee shop, and we had just decided the dates of the conference. The first thing we did is we made a poster, and I asked each of those 20 team members to reach out to 20 more people and do something as simple as posting the same poster on the same date at the same time on Instagram. And given the fact that the audience of the age group of our team members was about 17, 18, that was also our target audience of participants. So before we knew it, Instagram was flooded, and anytime everyone opened a story, all they saw was our logo, our dates, and a register now button.
Yeah.
So that really propelled us. A second big push was the fact that we had gone on to invite the then Chief Minister, the Honorable Chief Minister of Maharashtra, uh, Mr. Devendra Fadnavis, who had graced us with an appointment, talked to us about his belief in youth leadership and how the youth plays an important role in shaping not just the DNA of a country, but changing the way the world thinks, and how the youth is not just leaders of tomorrow, but leaders of today. So those were the big factors that helped us get our first 500 students.
I still remember that, there were about 500 odd students and they were all like well decked up, right? They're wearing bow ties. Probably they're wearing a blazer for the first time in their
Yes.
life. And they were so excited. And I still remember that I was asking that, hey, you don't seem to be my student. Like, what brings you to our campus? Like, oh, we are a part of the Alpha Urbane project. We're top. So it took a while for me to realize top is the Alpha Urbane project, and that's where I met you, right? And they're like, okay, this is an interesting concept, right? Like getting a bunch of folks outside their comfort zone in a good environment, which can help them unlock leadership. And this is the starting point, right? This is a starting point for a lot of important events in your life. You went on to London School of Economics, correct? Now, I want to understand from your perspective, right? Like industry wise,
Right.
youth leadership or upskilling or rather skilling
Right.
the next generation leaders, next generation entrepreneurs. Everybody's trying to do it,
Right.
right? And it's a difficult task.
No
And
doubt.
sometimes it feels like it's everybody's responsibility. What are the kind of challenges you're seeing? Like if I'm a 16, 17-year-old
Right.
and you want to skill them, right? And you were targeting essentially kids from the metro cities, and we'll focus on that. What are the kind of challenges to skill somebody who's 16, 17 and provide him with that kind of an experience which the schools are not able to provide?
You answered the question in the question itself, and I think the simple answer is that unfortunately school curriculum lacks leadership skills, it lacks practical skills, and students today are so consumed with their schoolwork,
Yeah.
across the various boards, whether it's the national boards or the state boards or the international boards. I think unfortunately at the high school level there is a little bit of a rat race that's been formed, where you go to school for those 6 or 8 hours every day, uh, and you come back and you're attending your tuitions,
Yep.
and you don't often get opportunities for extracurriculars outside of school hours because you're always in exam prep mode. And I think that's got to be one of the biggest challenges. I wish when I was in the 11th grade, I was taught something like financial literacy. The first time I picked up a checkbook, I didn't know where to sign and where the amount had to be written. And that was the first time I was setting up my business. So I feel I wish schools at the high school level start becoming a little more, or rather invoking a little more practical learning in the syllabus, a little more of things like financial literacy, a little more of things like entrepreneurship, and so on and so forth, that actually prepares a student not just for an examination, but for life.
Because this problem needs to be solved and it's being solved in different way. Um, my current students, they've just launched something called School of Adulting.
Wow.
And I'm like, that's such a Gen Z thing to say that, hey, you know what? I want to adult. And I'm like, what do you mean by you want to adult? It's like, I want to know how to change the Stephanie of my car. I want to know how to like understand how to write a check. I want to know how taxes work. And you're right, right? That's actually a responsibility which goes back to your learning years, which are between 6 to 16. Coming to your experience in London,
Right.
and you are not only in London, right? Because I have the privilege of following you on Instagram,
No.
and I see you at all beautiful, all places, rubbing shoulders with the who's who of the world. Can you help me understand what kind of learning you had, and what kind of insights did you collect from all these kind of events, marquee events, which you attended at LSE, you attended in Dubai, you attended, I think, in Switzerland as well. So, can you share those experiences?
Oh, absolutely. I think I was very, very fortunate to have gotten the opportunity to go to London to study at a school like the London School of Economics, where you're not only uh, rubbing shoulders with visiting professors, faculty, guests that are coming to deliver lectures, but also the fact that your class, your batch is so diverse. My batch, which only had about 58 students, was represented by 31 different nationalities. Everyone has a different story. Everyone has a different background, but what unites all of us is the common desire, the hunger to learn and achieve. And I think it was a great year. There was a lot of learning while at university. I think my best experience of uh, my university has got to be my course was around social entrepreneurship, which is something that you really set the foundation for. And we were consulting a startup based out of Cape Town in South Africa. So for an entire period of 8 months, we were supposed to work with them. We collected a lot of data, a lot of insights on their functions. We interviewed their beneficiaries, we interviewed their staff, we interviewed their CEO, we interviewed the government that was responsible for the specific sector. And at the end of 8 months, we actually flew into Cape Town and got to interact with these people on ground. And once we came back, we prepared a comprehensive report and recommendations on how they could better improve what they're currently doing. So that's definitely got to be the number one experience for me while at college. But at the same time, I was also very fortunate to attend these forums, specifically India Global Forum.
Yeah.
The first time I attended it was in December of 2022 in the UAE, when I was on my way back to India. Had just broke college had just broken for winter break, and I was honestly enthralled with what I saw. I was not only interacting with the who's who of India, but also the Middle East region. And after 3 days of immense learning and gratitude, the only thought that stuck with me is the forum discusses a lot of wide ranging issues, and it's very important for the youth to get involved. And the founder of the forum, Professor Manoj Ladwa, was extremely receptive and progressive. And when I pitched the idea to him of having a youth forum within IGF, or India Global Forum, he he gave me the opportunity, he gave me the support, he gave me the wings to fly. And in June of this year, I had the privilege of organizing a youth-led wing for India Global Forum at the High Commission of India.
Lovely.
And definitely that's got to be one of the biggest takeaways for me from this year.
Lovely. Aditya, you've always been somebody who is able to mobilize people, get people in a room, inspire them, kind of help them set a target, show them a vision, paint them a nice vision, but also articulate it very well so that people understand that, hey, you know what, this is what my job is, and this is what is on the line, right? And I've seen you do that. What are the kind of nuances in order to mobilize talent, as simple as that, right? In order to inspire talent, because you know a lot of people out there are having such a difficult time to get people inspired about a particular thing. And I know you had hundreds of students available at your disposal because you showed them a vision, right? How can people learn from that kind of a quality? Because it's applicable whenever you're a professor, it's applicable whenever you're a leader, it's applicable whenever you're an entrepreneur.
Right. The one word that comes to my mind is or two words is conviction and belief. I think the first step is
Now you're starting
believing.
to inspire me, huh? Like,
Not at all. I am inspired by you, and will always continue to be inspired by you for everything that you've done for me. And you're the one that's really pushed me into the world of entrepreneurship. So I'm always going to be inspired by you. But I think the two words are belief and conviction. The first step has got to be believing in the idea yourself and communicating that with conviction. And I think if there is a combination of both these things, uh, sharing or inspiring people to join your vision with good intentions should do you good.
The whole vision behind how you built the Alpha Urbane project, and it went on also towards enabling a lot of non-profit organizations to help them fundraise, right? It was very tactical, yet it was like super, super effective. Now, you have had a couple of successful ventures under your belt, right? They scaled. You also started investing in your friends' startups. I remember a time, I think, while you were in the third year, you were hiring the the seniors for your entrepreneurial ventures, and that's a great testimony. Now, by building youth leaders, by being engaged in all these kind of circuits about how to enable upskill the younger generation of our country, and with a fancy atlas degree and a fancy your LSC degree, what's next?
What's next for me is I'm very happy to be back in India. Although it was a great year in the UK, I think India is where the opportunity is. Having moved back only a few weeks ago, I'm very excited about pivoting and
Hmm.
actually starting a career in finance.
Hmm.
Uh, my biggest bet or my biggest belief has got to be in the India story. I think the 2000s were the decade of China, 2010s was the decade of the United States,
Hmm.
the 2020s, and hopefully the decades to follow is India's decade. So I'm very happy to be back in India, starting a career in finance, and I believe this is where the opportunity is.
No, I think one bald guy called Jeff Bezos ended up saying that 21st century has India written on it. Another bald guy agrees to it. You don't go bald trying to chase that dream, okay?
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not, right? Coming back to all your activities at Atlas, right? Because I have such fond memories again that be it at the Gymkhana where you're in this mode of dilemma that Omkar, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? What do you do when you've had a hard day at work, right? Because you've had a lot of hard days at work. How does Aditya Madnani um, kind of cool himself down after you know having a very emotionally and a physically taxing day?
I think while I was at college, I had the great privilege of spending a lot of time with you outside
Yeah,
of class and after college
yeah.
hours.
We were
And
driving home back a lot of times. Yes,
driving back home, I used to sit in your office
yeah,
till sometimes as late as 10 p.m.
yes.
and really trouble you. And I think having people, having mentors, having people that you trust, that you can go back to when you're in a
Mhm.
dilemma, when you're in a sticky situation, when you're not sure about, when you're feeling low, uh, pulling you up, motivating you, and pushing you to go that extra mile. Uh, I've been very fortunate to have you and Dr. Shani, who've
Mm.
always motivated me, pushed me, and and I think that's the best way to deal with crises at
Incredible.
work or taxing days at work.
A couple of questions in terms of um, as you start your next journey, right? You're what, 24, 25?
Almost 25 now.
Almost 25, right? Next 10 years are going to be critical, right? Like I always like to say this, like the 16 to 25 is your prep time.
Right.
It was a lot of game time for you also between 16 to 25. Now, what are the kind of dreams? And you've been a big dreamer. That's why I always get excited to know about your dreams. The other reason why I also get excited to know about your dreams is because you achieved them, right? So, what are your dreams for yourself? What you've set for the next 10 years?
Again, if I were to summarize it in one word, I'm a little too new to the world of finance to set some sort of a landmark or a goal myself for myself. To be relevant,
Hmm.
to be relevant has got to be one big keyword, and to leave a positive impact on anyone and everyone that I work with. I
Hmm.
think when I'm hopefully back, if you invite me for season 2 of the podcast,
Yeah.
I can give you a little more
Hmm.
of a detailed outlook on what my specific career based
Career based. Yeah.
goals and dreams are. But being relevant
Hmm.
and creating positive impact are the two themes that I'll go with.
Got it. Now, last segment, okay? And the rapid fire segment. Okay, quick ones.
Do I get a hamper at the end of it? What am I fighting for?
You get to come back and start teaching the next semester.
Looking forward.
So yeah, right off the bat, right? Which is that? And I always ask this. Which was your favorite subject while growing up?
Well, I think it's got to be year one quant.
Mm-hmm.
I think uh, quant, I believe, sets a base for
Mm.
a lot of different subjects that one could go on to pursue. And the beauty of it, the way it was taught here, was it was all extremely practical. So I'm going to go with quant.
One thing what you miss the most about at Atlas.
What I miss the most about Atlas is the peer group. All of my friends, whether it was my classmates or my friends, from different batches that I would meet in the breaks or just sitting with them and having a meal after class in the cafeteria. Of course, there was an entrepreneurial venture that was running at the time, but I think as years pass, you do realize that
Yeah.
your professors aren't just saying it, your parents aren't just saying it, but college years are
Are
indeed the best
the
years of
best
your
year
life.
Yeah. The biggest learning what you got from running the Alpha Urbane project.
The biggest learning is to not get too ahead of yourself, assess the practicality of your dreams, and also knowing when to pivot. I think if I were to give you one line, it's about knowing when to pivot. And I think had we continued doing model UNs in the pandemic, Alpha Urbane would have been dead in March or April of 2020.
Yeah.
But the fact that we were able to pivot and move to crowdfunding,
Yeah.
uh,
Which scaled like much bigger than the original business, right? Lovely. Next question up is what was your favorite moment while you were building the Alpha Urbane project across, Model United, crowdfunding? Your favorite moment?
favorite moments have always got to be uh, after pulling off a conference, when you sit with the team and go out and celebrate and have a drink. And I think those have got to be the favorite moments. Conference after conference, you feel like all your hard work is paid off.
Got it. Lovely. Aditya, this has been so delightful, and every conversation with you, I'm learning. I'm genuinely inspired by you. I really wish and want more students like you. I'm happy that I do have a lot of students like you, but as I'm teaching further and further, I kid you not. Okay, I'm genuinely saying this. I'm trying to spot who's the next Aditya Vadnani in my class.
I'm
Right.
very, very grateful to you, and thank you for saying that. And
Yeah, thank you. We are always here, ringside view of all the great things what you're now going to be building in the world of finance. So best of luck for that.
thank you so much.
Yeah, great, lovely.